we've been talking to our clients for the past couple of weeks, specifically during this whole COVID situation. And one thing that became pretty clear is that the online business for some of them is quite booming since their stores are closed. And with that, the pressure on their customer service is enormous, I would say. That with the fact that the working from home with customer service was for some of them also quite challenging because they were not prepared for it. There are two, I think, two separate things that we're seeing. One is more customer care related stuff. So normally you could be in the store and just ask a question about the product and get some help, some care, some advice on that. And on the other hand, people are now also diverted to the online part of buying products and not in the store. And with that comes a whole new set of questions. And we also see some companies having some problems with logistics. So there are questions like, where's my order at? How long does it take to get my return in? How long are you going to take to process it? Stuff like that. So the amount of questions to customer service by calls or other channels just increases. Start with creating specific FAQ sections related to this COVID situation. So it's also easier to update that section, so you don't need to update your whole information section for that matter.
Although I have seen quite effective, and companies starting to do this well, which is to have some pretty clear answers to the most common questions right when you get to the site, especially around service times, delivery times, and the immediate impacts. They become sort of center of the homepage content.
I think right now everything related to the logistics part and delivery is definitely an important one, because there are a lot of questions around that, but also returns. So what you see is that a lot of companies have now extended their time to return products, but they're not always that clear about it. It's sometimes it's hidden somewhere, or there's just a small sentence in a top banner on a page, but that can be improved quite a lot. Well, it's maybe also related to the making sure you have clear communication. So one of the things we mentioned in this specific playbook is also if you have waiting times per customer service channel, mention them online. So people just have better expectations when they call you. So let them know that there is a waiting line, or when they call you, let them know that people are working from home, so that there can be some background noise and some kids maybe playing around. And that just helps people understanding your situation as a company as well. And I think with that, you can actually gain some extra loyal customers as well.
Do we have any advice in there about things like say phone interfaces? So for instance, if someone's getting live chat, or even using things like WhatsApp, and how that would work. For instance, you can get a lot more efficiency out of a customer service agent if they're managing multiple conversations at once through a text interface, for example.
Yeah, I think it's different per company, of course. So we were recently talking to one of our customers that wanting to migrate to a new customer service system. Well, of course, due to the situation, those things are on hold, but actually pretty quickly after talking to them and going through some of the ideas, it was pretty clear that we actually needed to start with the live chat, do a very simple go live of this new platform with only the live chat functionality, because that allows them to already have part of their customer service agents working from home, specifically the ones that have children, because for them it was just more difficult to have a normal conversation from home, apart from all the security protocols that were in place, not allowing them to actually connect to the company systems. The live chat was just an easy solution for them, and indeed they could manage the more experienced people. They could manage different conversations at the same time. But I also think looking at your routing system at the moment is a very smart thing to do. So maybe normally you would go to people who are longer in the waiting list, or go to specific expertise. And I think right now, due to the radical changes in the types of questions people have, it's good to keep monitoring your routing system if it's still okay or can be optimized, because there's some good quick wins to gain there as well.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we touch on this, or maybe this is a more general question, what you've seen work in terms of being able to keep things up to date fast enough, because typically the turnaround cycles for finding this information out, checking it, getting written, getting it validated, publishing it can be weeks. Typical business cycle. And we just, one of the noticeable things about this COVID-19 situation is that everything seems to be speeded up 1,000%.
Oh, definitely.
And yeah, so I don't know if there's any particular advice or tips or even good examples of how you've seen people solve that.
Well, the examples, I think one of the, as you mentioned as well, things normally could take a long time to get published if it's content and information. And right now, some companies have more capacity to work on content because, yeah, I said, for example, store staff is at home, or there are people who cannot do their full job anymore and actually can work on content. And we also see that, like, approvals of content, everything is just speed up, everything is more okay, people are getting more responsibility and more trust from the companies as well, just because content needs to be there quickly. And I really hope that this maybe sets a new bar for the future, that we can in the future also have this in place, because it shows that sometimes you just have too many processes as a company to get some things done, and it's not necessary to have them.
Yeah, if you have smart or well-enabled people, then a lot of the time the process just needs to get out of the way and let them do their thing.
Yeah, no, and I think during these times, I wouldn't say people are forced to work like this, but it's more natural just to, all right, if you can take care of this part of the content, just do it. I have a million other things to do at this moment, and then things get done. Also, because everyone is in this situation, it's not just companies, the whole world is in this situation. So you also don't need to explain, for example, why there's some background noise with customer service, or why your delivery is taking a bit longer. People will understand. And I do think there's more openness and more human contact, and indeed less I'm calling to a customer service agent kind of feeling. Oh, of course, speed now is an important thing, because things are changing that quickly. And with our playbooks, there are a lot of ideas in there, and it's really about just talking about them, getting a better understanding of what's going on at the client side. Of course, we're in contact with them a lot of the times, but now it's way more in depth, and also they share way more with us than normally when business is going as usual, I would say. So the things that stick are the things that they can relate to, the things that they see. And of course, it's not that the play can be mapped one-on-one to their situation. So it's really a conversation starter, I would say. And from there, we find solutions and opportunities with them. And the things at the moment that stick the most are the things that can be implemented quite quickly and pragmatically, as well as the ones that solve the major issues they have at the moment, I would say. Because we're really in the getting things done mode, but we're definitely also monitoring it. So when it comes to customer service, we also, for example, advise on setting up some different reporting or looking at different KPIs at this specific moments, and looking at the reporting on a daily basis, because things are changing that much. For an example, peak times are totally different compared to before, but that also gives some new opportunities. So for example, you have people working in your customer service team that have kids and no longer have travel time, for example. So they're also more flexible in their working time. So you could, for example, have the opportunity of extending your opening hours on customer service to both satisfy your customers, as well to be a little bit more flexible to your employees, to state, all right, you can have normal dinner with your kid, things like that, take care of the schoolwork and work an hour extra in the evening. It's sort of a win-win situation. So I'm curious to see what that will bring in the future as well, if this might be the new norm.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see that. I think quite a bit of it could be, actually. I think what the interesting thing is about a crisis is you kind of have to throw away a lot of the old ways, and some of them you realize should have been thrown away, or bringing onto certain traditions or norms that were no longer that were past their best before days.
I think it's just looking at also the possibilities you already have, and the example you also gave with the information, maybe moving some stuff around, making it more visible, could already be a huge win. Things that are normally a little bit more hidden, just put them on the foreground and see if that works. So experimentation in this sense, measuring is important one as well, and be flexible.
the daily reporting is. I could completely agree on the visibility. And what I noticed quickly was that the companies that responded quickly and had this is our response to COVID visible on their homepages, the expectation rapidly became that every company should be telling you what's going on. And the people who hadn't, whose homepage still felt like business as usual, you would immediately, by comparison to the others, feel like they weren't responding, even if they were. Even, for example, a web shop was very busy doing great stuff in logistics. If it's not front and center and they're not telling you about it, then the immediate perception is, well, maybe they haven't done anything. Whereas I went to another web store and they had, the top of the homepage with the big, like, we're doing these 3 things and this is the new process or something.
Yeah.
So
No, definitely. So keep it up to date. And the recent changes Google made in the Google My Business is a great feature to make sure that even in when you're just searching, your latest information specifically related to this COVID-19 situation is there in the first on the first page.
okay,
So that's definitely.
What specifically did they change?
So they added the feature of making specific COVID-19 related posts, so they stand out a bit more. But also what we advise to our clients is making sure you update it regularly. So for companies that have a lot of stores, they also opened up the API to do mass changes. But even for smaller companies, make sure your description is up to date, that it shows the latest things that you're doing. So not only change your information and content on your own site, also look at these kind of solutions as well, because it will answer the first questions people have and they will not contact your customer service for that.
Yeah, I confess I'm a lazy consumer, and I just use Google and the Google business data to see whether the store's open. I don't go to their website.
Yeah, exactly. That's a perfect example.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, that was really interesting. Nice one.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah. Have a good rest of the day. Thanks.
Thank you. You as well.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. Bye-bye.